The award-winning Cinema Classics is produced by John DeSando and Johnny DiLoretto. Listen to the shows and read reviews online at WCBE.org.
I'm John DeSando.
I'm Johnny DiLoretto. This is Cinema Classics. You can tell because we have an image here. Look at this. And it comes to you in dazzling black and white, in paper that's curling up off of the board. We've got two different color push pins. This is, man, would Kubrick be proud of this this production design?
With his attention to detail.
Wow.
We would never make it through the door.
I could just see him. He would just have the camera slowly pushing in on this setup here.
All right. That's for our video audience.
Mm-hmm.
We have the 50th anniversary of 2001: A Space Odyssey.
God, wow.
I know. And Gateway Film Center,
Mm-hmm.
June 16th through the 26th, so it means it's already started,
Yeah.
has a 70mm version of that.
It's playing right now.
It is. I thought it started the 16th.
Oh, I don't know. I'm asking.
But yeah, it starts 16th, which is 2 days before our broadcast. Our broadcast is
okay,
next
so
Friday, next
right.
Thursday.
So it will be now playing.
That's correct.
Okay.
So it's now playing at Gateway.
Ooh, man.
70mm? Now, come on. Is this the best science fiction movie ever made or not?
Wow. It is certainly the most influential.
Good.
It is certainly the most austere, and maybe, definitely the smartest. It just, here's the thing about 2001 is it doesn't, there's no adventure. A lot of times these days we take our sci-fi with a healthy dose of adventure,
Yeah.
i.e. Star Wars, Star Trek even. This one, really, it's Arthur C. Clarke's, right? An adaptation of Clarke's book of the same name?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, there's a new book out
Okay.
called Space Odyssey, Stanley Kubrick, Arthur C. Clarke, and the Making of a Masterpiece.
Yeah, but he adapted it from a Clarke work.
Well, they were working
They
in
just worked
conjunction.
together,
They were working
okay.
in conjunction, right? Exactly. Because Clarke had Childhood's End. He had some good stuff. But both he and Kubrick were looking.
Yeah.
And even though this may not be included, I'll give you the little conjunction of the two.
Yeah.
Clarke received a telegram in 1963.
Mm-hmm.
Stanley Kubrick, Dr. Strangelove, Paths of Glory, etc. Interested in doing film on, are you interested, query thought.
Did he write it any clearer than that?
This is a telegram. I'm trying to do the stop and all that stuff. You were, thought you were recluse. Clarke replied with the following cable. Frightfully interested in working with enfant terrible. Stop. Contact my agent. Stop. What makes Kubrick think I'm a recluse? Query. Anyway, so that'll give you an idea. In 1963, these boys were just starting.
Yeah.
But also to your point,
Yeah.
one of the great critics of all time walked out of that movie and said, "What the hell is this about?" That was Rock Hudson.
Oh, Rock Hudson.
Right. But typical of so many people. The thing almost bombed.
It's right. It's so like you're expecting some sort of human element that you don't really get until the very near end when the astronauts are dealing with Hal. So it's the movie is pretty much, as I remember it, broken up into 3 distinct parts. There's the beginning part with the sort of early humanoid creatures.
No dialogue for 25 minutes.
Right. Okay. So you get these, guys, these brutal ape-like creatures running around, right? And you begin to see, he's got a plan here. He's showing you something, right? And then, of course, you get the famous edit with the bone being thrown into the air.
Yes.
The bone. Well, they touched the monolith, right? The monolith, which is an idea that has continued to haunt me. This idea that human intelligence was imparted by aliens.
Yeah.
I love this idea.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's that part, right? The apes, they touch the thing, boom. Next thing you know, we're in the future, and then we're following this guy, this really boring white guy that we've never seen. I don't think I've ever seen that guy in anything else. He's just on the spaceship. You remember that guy?
I
You know
do.
what I'm talking
Sure.
about?
Yeah.
He calls his family.
Yeah.
He Skypes. Again, that's like the first first image of Skyping.
Oh.
He Skypes in, okay, and then we deal with this guy for a while. Then we end up on the moon with the monolith again. And then you get the third act, which is the astronauts and their mental duel with Hal,
Right.
the computer.
Which the letters that follow are interesting. I, B, M.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
And Hal, but anyway,
Mhm.
Hal is the classic bad boy of robot.
Hal was the
version.
first Siri.
Huh?
He was the first
Oh yeah,
Siri.
oh yeah.
Or Alexa.
Yeah, and I
You know,
love.
imagine Alexa doesn't let you into the house.
No, but what?
Alexa, open the door. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, John.
Yes. Well, the most memorable for me is when Hal is going down, and he's singing Daisy Bell.
Mhm.
Daisy,
Yeah,
Daisy.
it's bizarre,
In
right?
which one of the
Uncanny.
in one of the verses there's I'm half crazy.
Yeah, right. Do we know who did the voice for Hal?
Yeah, you know I did, but I've forgotten who it is. Yeah.
Well, let me look it up.
I'm afraid.
I'm going to ask
I'm
Hal.
afraid,
I'm gonna
Dave.
ask the new version of
Dave,
Hal.
my mind is going. I love it. It is
I'm
so
afraid my
honest.
mind is going.
Here's what Kubrick said.
Yeah.
He said that Hal had an acute emotional crisis because he could not accept evidence of his own fallibility. Isn't that cool?
That is cool.
But I saw a whole museum on Kubrick stuff.
All right, here you go. Douglas Rain,
Oh.
a Canadian actor and narrator, though primarily a stage actor, also known for providing the voice of HAL 9000.
Mm-hmm.
How about that?
I love it.
Pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
This is like HAL. Like our phones are like HAL. You just say, okay, HAL. Who was the voice of HAL?
I think it was the New York Times that reported that 2001 was a monumentally unimaginative movie. Can you imagine how ill-prepared we
It's
were
so
for
interesting,
that?
yeah, right, to go back and look at some of those old reviews by some of the best critics who have ever
Oh, right.
worked, you know?
Clark responded. I love his response.
Yeah.
If you understand 2001 completely, we failed. We wanted to raise far more questions than we answered.
Oh, that's great.
Isn't that great?
I love that.
I know.
That's great. Very cool. And they do, you know, the movie should be experienced on a big screen, and I would love to see it in 70 millimeters, so I will definitely be
Oh,
on
I will
my
too.
way.
Yeah, let me know when you guys go. Because you
yeah,
got to take the boys.
I would love to take the boys. I don't know how Franco will hold up, but
Yeah, it's 88 minutes of that is dialogue free
yeah.
of the 2 hours
Yeah.
of film. So,
But it's so, the colors, when I think back on the colors, the production design of the movie is really memorable. There are images in that movie that are just burned into my brain. The woman walking in the circle thing, you know?
yes.
Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Of course, the trippy section of they're going through another dimension,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah. And-
Which will appear to be, I'm sure, like lo-fi,
Well,
you know, the effects, but they add up. That sort of optical effect that would be done today with CGI is stunningly effective, and it starts to get a little weird, you know, and it goes on for a long time.
yeah. For me, among other images, you know how I think you were so right. There's so much of an emphasis on images. Is the circular station and Strauss.
Oh
playing.
yeah, right.
What a great choice!
Yeah.
Classical music for that.
Mm-hmm.
It's lulling. One of the reasons this film eventually took off was the kids were tripping on it.
Yeah,
They
it became this counterculture.
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'm afraid, Dave. What else we got here? Yeah. Anyway.
Well, what do you remember from the movie? What do you remember seeing it at the time?
Oh yes. of
And
course.
how were you struck?
And
by
I
it?
even brought it back to my home in the 70s for my kids to see. I put a big sheet up.
Yeah.
I had a
How
35
did you do
millimeter.
that?
I was running
a 35 millimeter projector.
Yeah, the 16 in my home.
Yeah.
But we had in the theater that I ran at this university.
Ah.
So we got hold of a 16 millimeter print and we showed it
Yeah.
on a big sheet.
Mhm.
It was it was like a sleepover.
Okay.
Yeah. Mostly I remember what had certified for me is it's unknowable, an attempt at the unknowable. That monolith is a symbol of the strange things that may occur out there. But you and I have had conversations about the limitless possibilities of other civilizations, even in our own galaxy. So the film for me best expressed the lyrical mystery of space adventure. The Odyssey, one of my favorite pieces, of course, is Homer's Odyssey. So 2001, it's a space odyssey.
Right.
That's what it is, and it is all the joy for me and all the danger of what Homer had. And I thought that both Clark and Kubrick caught it perfectly without answering any questions. I mean, I don't know, what does the ending mean to you?
Oh, that's a good question. What does it mean? It's been a while since I've seen it, but I think that. Oh,
Well, he's
I don't
eating
know.
alone, right? And then do we have the baby come back again, or not?
yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean, I don't see the baby as literal. I see the baby as
Yes,
figurative.
I agree.
The embryo is
Yes,
figurative.
yes.
Right? It looms so large. It's basically saying life. It just screaming
Right.
life.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Um,
Affirming life is true.
and so what I think they're doing right there is, how, and I will mangle this. We should have Dan Michalko here to explain this. But when they say like you travel at the speed of light, you'll end up somewhere. If you came back to the same point, you would be the
that's
same
right,
age,
yeah.
and everybody else
That's
would be
right.
old,
Right.
or vice versa. I don't know how it goes.
Everybody would be older.
Something would be, yeah, right. So I think they're playing with that notion. He's maybe going back to his own spot, his own home, his own bed when he was a child, although now he's an old man.
Yes.
And he's sort of witnessing his own birth. I don't know. He's witnessing the birth of humanity. I don't know.
Well, for me too.
It's all a bunch of questions. I
Well,
don't know.
for me too, it's prescient about the advance of technology, which we're even seeing today with young people and everybody walking around the streets looking at their phones.
Mm-hmm.
He alone, eating alone, in this wherever he is, as an old man, Cardulia, the actor, presaging how lonely our future is going to be.
Interesting. Yeah.
If
solitary, right?
Right. If we're bound to technology,
Mhm.
as certainly this film is.
Yeah, and so much of that, that's the other thing is, along with Star Trek, right, which came before. Star Trek
Correct.
was 66. This was 69. So in
Good.
some ways, see, that's interesting, the chronology of science fiction. So in some ways, Kubrick was inspired by this movement, this sci-fi
Yes.
kind of craze, and he wanted to, apply his vigorous intellectual mind to it, and that's the result. But look at all the stuff that we got, like the talking to screens,
Yes,
talking to
yes.
people on screens. Star Trek with the flip phones, the little
Oh yeah. Yeah.
stun.
Laser
set your
beams.
phasers to stun.
Right.
There's so many things that when you just dream them up,
Yeah.
and Hollywood gives image to them.
Yes.
It gives rise to the human imagination. We will make those things real.
Yeah.
We will realize those things.
Well, and Kubrick really was in the forefront of the popular movement toward science fiction. I have to think. I don't know if and looking at in looking at Forbidden Planet, am I talking before or after 2001? Because Forbidden Planet. Before, you're right. Forbidden Planet was up to that point my favorite science fiction, and Kubrick just blasted that thing. I can't even barely remember Forbidden Planet when I think of the images you're talking about.
Right. Again, he took the genre seriously.
Yes.
And I think that might be the biggest gift of 2001 is that, dreams about space, fantasies about space didn't have to be juvenile anymore.
No,
They could be the realm of big ideas for adults to play around into.
Oh, yeah. So if our audience gets on it, moves fast,
Yeah.
They can see this in
Gotta
70
do it.
millimeter at Gateway Film Center,
Mhm.
only for about another week.
We do not recommend dropping acid before you go.
No.